In this section, we will be going over some of the vocabulary that we will be using in this presentation. To start off with, we have hue, which is a gradation or variety of a color. The hue of a color will stay the same even if white, gray, or black is added. Next, we have saturation, the brilliance and intensity of a hue. Mixing contrasting colors or adding white, black, or gray will make a color appear less saturated. And with contrast, it is a juxtaposition of differences. This is used to intensify the properties within a work of art. Complementary colors are two colors that are opposite each other on the color wheel. When placed beside each other, they will make both colors appear brighter and grab a viewer's attention, such as yellow and purple or red and green. With discordant colors, you have colors that contrast, clash, or fight each other rather than harmonize. These are colors that do not fall into any of the harmonious schemes such as analogous or complementary. This can make a viewer feel uncomfortable, but can also bring stimulus to a piece of art. Color vibration is what happens when colors are placed directly adjacent to each other and create an illusion of motion. Vibrating colors are bold and highly saturated and are often complementary or near opposite on the color wheel. Psychedelic color schemes in art are a product of the late 1960s counterculture. These highly contrasted colors and surreal or distorted visuals are meant to represent the experience of being under the influence of hallucinogenics.
Color discord is shown here. If you look at the ones on the right side, you can see that they do not have a good flow. They tend to look wild and random, and they don't seem to go together. Where the analogous colors on the left, they are part of the same shades. They are good families, they go together. By noticing that, you can feel the peace and the harmony in those colors, unlike the wild chaos of the discord. But if you look at these colors, they are both examples of discordant colors. The ones on the left, they are bright and radiant, where the ones on the right tend to be a little more muted. They tend to have their values closer together. Now you'd think the one on the left is discordant and that the one would be even less on the right. However, the ones on the right are even more discordant based on the fact that their colors are so similar. Discord colors tend to come off in a chaotic way. However, if you use them right, like Wolfcan did, you can see that they actually can create a very welcome element. By using the yellow as the lighter shades, it really shows light in comparison with the darker shades. He uses the color in the trees to create symphony. Where here, you can see that colored discord can have other ways too. Looking at the one on the left, it clashes, it's bright, and it almost hurts your eyes a little bit. However, when you take that and you turn it into fashion, like on the right, you can see how discord can actually be very beautiful in other ways. Her outfit, while it is flashy and catches your eyes, it doesn't make you want to turn away, kind of like the image on the left does. When looking into fashion, unexpected color combos are actually quite common when you look at both fashion design and interior design. On both the left and the right sides of this slide, you can see that we have both an interior design and we have fashion using unexpected color combinations. While they are not across from each other on the color wheel that's placed right in the center, you can see that they still do have a very eye-catching, interesting look that doesn't make you want to turn away. The same goes with these. While they are not close to each other on the scale, they still complement each other in a very beautiful way. The 70s and the 80s, as you can see, were very fond of unexpected color combinations. That's when you can see a lot of the green kitchens, pink bathtubs, and all that fun stuff. However, we tend to bring it back with the fashion as seen on the right. By mixing these colors, you can take something that seems to kind of cringe and make it fun and bright and beautiful. And this can be done in several different ways, as shown in the next slide. By changing the way that we see these, you can make these unexpected color combinations really great and really beautiful. Well, here we changed the hue of the colors. Instead of making them so bright and obvious, we lowered them down a bit, and you can see just how well the pastels complement her with her blonde hair, as well as the yellow and blue in complementary of each other. However, those are still considered unexpected color combinations. But how do they make you feel? Taking these unexpected color combinations can create a whole range of feelings. In this one, does it make you feel warmer? Or does it make you feel colder? Usually, By using colors that you wouldn't expect, you're able to control your moods just a little bit more than you would maybe normally. Wes Anderson uses his movies to create exactly this. He is an American screenwriter, director, and producer. So by looking at his images, as shown above, you can see that he likes to choose a very unexpected color combination in several of his movies. While the shades listed below appear analogous, you can actually tell that they are not colors that would go together based on a color wheel scale, therefore making them an unexpected color combination. By using unexpected color combinations here, you can really tell who is the main focus of this image. By using a bolder, brighter color, while it does clash with the others, it also makes him really stand out. He has several great examples of using unexpected color combinations in these ways, as seen in this image above. By bending the rules with color, you can actually create some really beautiful, really unique things. There's nothing that says you have to be limited to specific color wheel combinations or analogous colors.
Vibrating colors is the occurrence where the edges of two touching colors appear to blur and glow, which gives the illusion of motion. This is achieved by choosing colors from the opposite ends of the color wheel, also known as complementary colors, that have equal value and intensity. This visual noise can create an overwhelming response from some. Joseph Albers, an artist and color theorist, wrote in his 1963 book titled Interaction of Color, "This initially exciting effect also feels aggressive and often uncomfortable to our eyes. One finds it rarely used except for a screaming effect in advertising, and as a result, it is unpleasant, disliked, and avoided. One common place where you will find vibrating colors accepted and welcome is in the world of psychedelics."
Color evokes a response. I think we've all heard statements such as, "Ever since our argument, I've been blue. I saw red when she lied to me. You're certainly in a black mood today. I was green with envy when I saw their new house." These statements are emotional. The speakers are expressing an emotional reaction, and somehow a color reference makes the meaning clearer because color appeals to our emotions and feelings.
Color evokes emotion. Most of us understand warm versus cool colors evoke different emotions. Typically, cooler tones, such as blues and greens, are associated with quieter, less outgoing feelings and can express melancholy or even depression. An example of this is the painting on the left by Picasso, Crouching Woman. Your immediate reaction to this emotionally would be that this is a sad painting, and that is indicative of the blue background. Certain color pairings are almost difficult to look at. In fact, our eye experiences a conflict in trying to perceive them simultaneously. An example of this would be red and cyan, as we're able to see in the poster on to the left. This is something that was very popular in the 1960s. It's kind of hard to read, as you can see, with the green background and the red lettering, not only because of the font, but the colors make it kind of hard to really understand what's going on.
The flat red background in Leon Golub's Mercenaries 4 is evocative of blood and impending violence. The intense red seems to push these figures toward us, which heightens our emotional response as a viewer. The background is kind of different textures. It makes it look almost like it was kind of dirty, which puts an emphasis on conflict and violence in the artwork. With a change of context, the same hue can evoke a completely different response.
I found this really neat color flower that shows what different emotions are associated with certain colors. Something that I found interesting was green. It changed the emotion based on the shade of green that it was. For example, the lighter shade is associated with joy, trust, love, and complete difference with the darker greens, which is fear and apprehension.
The word psychedelic comes from Greek roots and means mind manifesting. Psychedelic art was a 1960s counterculture movement. The movement started from art that people created while influenced by hallucinogens that were meant to alter your state of mind. This resulted in bright kaleidoscopic patterns that went against the grain. Psychedelic art was a counterpart to psychedelic rock music. One of the biggest ways music incorporated this art style during the 60s and into the 70s was through album covers and concert posters, taking lots of inspiration from the Art Nouveau movement but utilizing vibrating color combinations. This art style was like none other at the time. Some of the most notable designers from the psychedelic art movement were referred to as the Big Five. The Big Five were a group of San Francisco-based poster artists who often collaborated together. These artists were Rick Griffin, Alton Kelly, Victor Moscato, Stanley Mouse, and Wes Wilson. Between these five, they created some of the most famous concert posters and album covers in history. Some of the bands they designed for included the Grateful Dead, Jimi Hendrix, and the poster design for what ended up being the Beatles' very last show. Most of these posters featured vibrating color combinations which solidified the look of the 1960s psychedelic movement.